With all the attention paid to Samsung's S95 QD OLED TV, it might be easy to forget that Samsung has an absolutely massive TV lineup, including 8K sets, along with soundbars and the frame. I mean, there's a lot to talk about for Samsung in 2022, so let's talk about it. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Caleb Dennison, and while I flew to New York mostly to check out the Samsung S95 TV, the fact of the matter is, and you might be surprised to know this, that is not considered their flagship television. For that, you actually need to look at the 8K QLED lineup. So I walked around, checked out a bunch of other televisions at this display space, along with some soundbars and a few gems I wasn't expecting, and I want to run you all the way through it. So let's dive in with Samsung's 8K QLED TVs. They have the QN800 on display here. The QN900 just didn't make it soon enough, but we still get a good feel for Samsung's approach to 8K televisions. And I think I need to sound like a broken record once again and talk about 8K TVs in general. When you buy an 8K TV today, you're not really buying it for the resolution. There is some benefit to the resolution at very large screen sizes, but the fact of the matter is, the way TV manufacturers are operating right now is if you want the very best technology, the very best performance, be that from the backlight or the color gamut or otherwise, you need to look to the 8K TVs because that is where they're putting their best stuff. Case in point, Samsung's QN900 and QN800 QLED TVs. These 8K televisions have Samsung's absolutely best mini LED backlight system with the most zones, the most backlights, the most punch and pop available from a Samsung TV today. So if you want to talk about Samsung's flagship TV, it is the QN900, and sitting just below that is the QN800, which we got an opportunity to see here. And I got to tell you, it is a very impressive television. I'm looking forward to putting this against the flagship TVs from other manufacturers, but once again, I expect Samsung to be very competitive, and Samsung has done a great job in the past of not only achieving really high peak brightness and great specular highlights, but also controlling the backlight in such a way that it has really good black levels and a minimum of halo or blooming around bright objects on those black backgrounds. In addition to that, Samsung has arguably the best off-angle experience from an LCD-based television out there, and they do wonders with anti-glare as well. So you're looking at a pretty well-rounded TV already. But let's add to that both the QN900 and the QN800 8K TVs come standard with the Samsung One Connect box. Now, if you haven't seen the Samsung One Connect box in a while, well, here it is. Now, it's kind of a pancake design. It's a little bit wider and deeper than the One Connect box that we saw when this technology first came out, but all the benefits are still there. You plug everything into this One Connect box, and then you just have one cable that runs up to the TV. Now, that fiber optic cable is not quite as thin as we've seen in the past. You can see here it's a little bit thicker, but it's still just one cable running everything you need, including power, right up to the television. Now, I know this is a feature that's not a huge hit with the custom installer crowd, but they have made it easier to attach to the back of the TV because it is so flat. You can just smack it on the back of the TV and you'll never know that it was back there. But if you're like most people who have installation challenges, you can put this One Connect box with all of your other gear and just run the one cable up to the TV. I'm still a fan. What can I say? Outside of that, I'm not going to be able to talk to you about just how many zones these TVs have available to them. We're going to have to wait until we actually get these in for review so that, hate counting zones, but I might have to do it just because this is so far looking to be a very impressive television. But the real takeaway here is that the QN900 and the QN800 8K televisions are the best TVs that Samsung makes, according to Samsung, and that is where we're going to see a lot of competition this year, up among that 8K tier. Now, I mentioned that I saw some soundbars while I was here. I saw the top of the line soundbar as well as a new ultra thin design. Look at this thing. It's tiny. This is one of the smallest soundbars I've ever seen, certainly the thinnest soundbar I've ever seen. And it's going to be able to mount under just about anything. In fact, if you have an ultra short throw projector, you might be able to get away with putting this below your projection screen because it's not going to get in the way of the light beaming up from that projector. But believe it or not, this thing supports Dolby Atmos. If you look closely at the top left and right of this soundbar, you can see the little tiny Dolby Atmos speakers. If that's not cute enough for you, check out the subwoofer that goes with this soundbar. This thing is tiny, very compact, and it's not just the one driver. If we swing around the back, we can see that there's a passive radiator back there. Now, I haven't had a chance to actually hear this soundbar in action, but just from a visual perspective, I think it looks really cool. Now, on the opposite side of that spectrum is Samsung's top-of-the-line soundbar. This, of course, is their no-holds-barred Dolby Atmos soundbar. It comes with this subwoofer that you see here, as well as 2 Dolby Atmos satellite speakers and then the main bar itself. These soundbars, one of the big features that is coming out with Samsung this year is wireless Dolby Atmos sound. So it uses a Wi-Fi signal to pass wireless Dolby Digital Plus with Atmos buried in there with the codec so that you can get wireless Atmos sound, which is a next level convenience that we haven't seen with any other manufacturer that I can think of, at least right now. So that's something else to be excited about. In addition to that, we've got Samsung's Q Symphony sound. So the TV speakers itself can work in concert, pardon the pun, with the Q Symphony built into the soundbar so that you're actually expanding the overall soundstage using the TV speakers in conjunction with the Samsung Atmos soundbar. Very cool. Now, while I'm here, I also want to call attention to the frame. You know this TV is meant to be an art piece on the wall, and in the past they've pulled this off fairly well, but this year the frame is next level. There's no way for me to talk about this without sounding like it's a bunch of hype. You really just need to walk up to see it for yourself. The new anti-reflective coating that they've put on this TV takes the frame to the next level. Like I said, this is the closest to looking like an actual piece of art on your wall that I've seen any display achieve. This is legitimately good stuff. We talk a lot about high-end TVs and nits and HDR performance and color saturation and all this other stuff, but for a lifestyle product, the frame is one of the most legit pieces I've seen before. You can see with the previous version of the frame on the left here, you get a fair amount of reflection. Even though it's dimmed down fairly well, there's still a reflectivity to it. And that loses texture with the artwork. Whereas with this new version of the frame, it's like you could touch the texture, except for when you touch it, it's just a glassy screen. Anyway, I'm seriously impressed. And that's why I wanted to bring attention to it, is because while on one end you have the really high-end QN900 and QN800 8K QLED TVs that have every feature in the world, including up to 144 Hertz for gaming, Samsung's gaming hub, and all that great stuff. You also have like the frame, which is fulfilling a completely different need and really sort of brings that lifestyle product concept home in a way that I've not seen before. This may be the first year that I do a proper review of a Samsung The Frame TV because honestly, I think it deserves it. So there's more to talk about in terms of the Samsung QN95 finally coming to US shores for the first time. That will come with the One Connect box that we saw with the QN800 earlier. And then of course we've got the QN90B, which is going to come without the One Connect box and offer similar performance to the QN95, just not quite as high end. With the pricing that they've laid out for these TVs, I think this year it's going to be really hard to choose which Samsung TV you would want to get. And even harder when you're weighing Samsung products against Sony or LG or even TCL products. So I guess the thing I'm most excited for this year is kind of diving into the deep nooks and crannies of all these different TVs and figuring out which one is going to be the right purchase for you. To be sure, my big takeaway from this event here is that this is one of the most exciting years for TV that I've seen in a long time. Thanks as always for watching, everyone. If you weren't considering an 8K TV before, are you considering one now? Leave me a comment about that down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and here's 2 other videos that I think you'll like.